Yo, what's up, everyone? Kevin here. Welcome to the Snowboard Pro Camp live chat. Just wanted to come on here, talk to you guys. We've got some winter storms arriving around the Northern California area. So I want to talk to you guys about that. Also, just how everyone's early season is going, getting ready for the upcoming snowboard season. And also just wanted to talk to you guys about some of the videos that have been up on the channel. So I think the last 5 or 6 weeks straight, we've been having daily uploads. So I've been stoked about that. Hope you guys had the chance to check out those videos. And also have some big videos coming out soon that I hope you guys will check out as well and talk to you guys about that. If you guys have any questions about anything to do with snowboarding, if you're getting your snowboard gear ready for the season, if you need to buy any gear, if you need any advice or just anything to do with snowboarding, just definitely feel free to hit me up. We've already got 32 people in the chat, one like. Let's see if we can bump that like to people ratio up. All right, 2 likes, here we go. And just excited to talk to you guys. The other day, actually went to Mammoth Mountain for opening day, so that was super fun. It was a bit windy at Mammoth, so the day got cut short, but the morning was awesome. They had a couple runs open and some park features, and the sun was out in the morning. Had a really good time. I got a video coming out from that day coming out soon, and I think Mammoth at the moment is getting like 70 to 80 centimeters. So just like absolutely getting dumped on in Mammoth. Here in Reno, Nevada, it's snowing quite a bit as well. We got snow in the city here. And I think the mountains around Tahoe are probably getting quite a bit of snow. So winter has kind of like arrived. So I think I'm going to be heading back to Mammoth tomorrow, possibly. We'll see how the weather plays out. Just got some new winter snow tires on my car, so all set for that. And just excited for the season to get started and kicked off. I've been putting together my snowboard gear list together, getting everything together. So I recently picked up this POW board. It's the K2 Excavator. So excited to pick that up. I also just got the GoPro 11. So I got the GoPro 11. Got a microphone for it. I don't know if this might get in the way, been picking up some new gear for filming. I got a new Volcom jacket. I got a new helmet, a bunch of new things. So I'm excited for the season to get going. Let's jump into some questions. We've already got 45 people on the chat, 47, 18 likes, and let's see who's got the first question. Grant says, are you going to make it to Colorado this winter? Possibly, yeah. I think from Reno, it's like a short flight to Colorado to Denver. So hopefully we'll make it over there, get to ride with TJ from Board Archive. And there's a bunch of mountains in Colorado that would be super fun to check out. So hopefully make it to Colorado. What's your home mountain? Where would you recommend that I go? Brendan wants to know my thoughts on the Never Summer Proto Slinger. Haven't tried that board out, man. Would love to check out some Never Summer boards. Epic Enzo says you should go to Korea sometimes to snowboard. That would be super fun as well. Although I don't know, how is the snowboarding in Korea? Is it good? I haven't really heard much about snowboarding in Korea. If you could let me know how it is, where I should go, that would be great. Scott wants to know, have you ever used flow bindings? And if so, what is your opinion? So for myself, I guess the issue with flows is that because they're like the rear entry binding, so the high back comes down and you put your foot in the back. The only issue with that, or one of the issues, is you always have to be on your toe edge when you put your binding on. And for me, I like being on my heels to put my bindings in. And that means if you are in a situation where you're standing somewhere, if you're standing somewhere awkward, you always have to maneuver yourself over to your toe edge to get your foot in. So I'm not a fan of that. Like when I used to teach snowboarding, the students that had flows would always be kind of like the ones having some trouble getting their bindings on because they always had to get onto their toe edge. So if you're like on a steep slope on your heels and you take your bindings off for some reason, and then you got to put them on, you got to do it on your toe edge. So that causes a problem. The other issue is when snow gets in there. I've had students like struggle with like getting the snow out from inside of their flow binding. So yeah, those, I know that it's like convenient. It is convenient to have the rear entry, but I don't know if the convenience is worth it for those reasons. So I've never had flows, and from what I've seen from students, it's kind of like it can create a problem. All right, 66 people watching, 23 likes. Awesome, thanks guys. Yeah, this is pretty fun. Love talking to you guys. Let's see if we can bump the likes up. TNJ, any advice on how to practice park tricks for beginners? Yeah, definitely. So when you're just like getting into the park and even outside of the park, what you can practice is just doing ollies on the runs. So being able to ollie is really important. Work on your nollies. Nollies outside the run. Work on switch. The more you can ride switch and the better you are at switch, that's like a necessary skill for park. You can also just like, ride up side banks, do some 180s or like spins, just like up on the side of a bank. So you're not really getting much air. You actually have to jump yourself. But doing those tricks up banks is like a safe way to practice. You can also just practice butter tricks on the slopes. So even on areas that are fairly flat, just working on your presses, your nose and tail presses. And the more you practice all that stuff like outside the park, the more it's going to help you the first time you go in there. A big one for doing small jumps and also for doing beginner boxes is just practicing riding with your board straight and flat. So because you need your board, you need to be comfortable going straight. So practice that and just like go at the speed that you're comfortable with. And then when you need to, do a few speed checks, a few turns to control your speed. But by doing that outside the park first, it like prepares you for your first box or your first jump. So yeah, practice all that stuff ahead of time, and you'll be on your way to doing tricks. Manolo says, "Hey Kevin, been a long time. I catch a live stream. Hope all is well. Congrats on the move to the U.S. What made you move from Whistler to the U.S.?" Well, I was the last couple of years. So like obviously Whistler is amazing. I lived in Whistler for like almost 20 years, about 18 years I was living in Whistler. Whistler's awesome. Still probably the best mountain. I guess the issue I had with Whistler is just it was starting to feel a bit busy, and also for like video content, because I've made so many videos in Whistler, I was kind of looking for a place to go where, there's like new mountains to explore, new places to check out, and just new places to make videos, someplace different, like a change of scenery. So last year I did a ton of traveling. My wife and we like drove from Vancouver all the way down through the US, through like Utah and California, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and just kind of like exploring the West Coast to see like if there's any places that we thought we might like to spend a season. And yeah, after spending some time in Reno and also riding in Tahoe, it seemed like a pretty cool place where so in Tahoe, you have all the mountains, you have like a 12 plus mountains to explore. And then over here in Reno, you have like a cool city that you can like live in and have like all the like lifestyle and social stuff of living in a city. So it's kind of like a cool balance of like city life with mountain life. And yeah, you can kind of like mix it up and you can have a different lifestyle. So after finding Reno, we thought we would give it a shot, get to spend the winter here. As Canadians, I think we can stay for 6 months at a time. So as long as we don't stay past our like 6 month allotted time as Canadians, we're all good. And yeah, it's definitely different living here compared to Whistler. But I'm excited just to like explore all the resorts around Tahoe and like this part of California. Yes, it's so cool being able to drive just down to Mammoth. It is like so a decently long drive. It's a 3-hour drive, but having that option is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited to explore these mountains, to share the videos with you guys. And also I'm excited for the terrain parks too. Like I know North Star's got an awesome park, Boreal, Mammoth, and like I'm sure there's others too that I haven't even checked out yet. So yeah, excited to just check out some new scenery, make some videos in new places, and just go exploring. All right, thanks for the questions, guys. 75 people watching, 32 likes. Amazing. Um, Gus Perez says, "What's your favorite, I guess, resort so far in the U.S.?" So my favorite, my favorite resort is I've talked about it like too much probably. I love Mount Baker in northern Washington. It's like it's really cool because it's like a quiet place. You have like old school chairlifts, and then incredible views of all the mountains. And the terrain is like the best at Baker. It's just like a really good pitch to the terrain. And yeah, last year I had a ton of amazing powder days there. So yeah, that's my favorite in the U.S. Um, Time to Roll says, "Hi Kevin, this one may be personal, and it's okay if you don't want to answer. I'm wondering what's your typical snowboard day is like? Do you do any coaching or do you make snowboard videos?" Yeah, so I don't do any coaching. I used to teach snowboarding when I lived in Whistler. That was like my full-time job for like 10 years. Um, and so I don't do it anymore. I'm just like full-time into making the videos. And a typical day, so so nowadays, like I definitely my day starts earlier than it used to. Like I used to like be not a morning person, and I don't think I'm still not a morning person, but now I get up fairly early. So if it's a POW day, I'm getting up really early, like 6 or 7 a.m. Trying to get to the mountain first or early. I might have, usually I grab some kind of breakfast, either, usually on the way to the mountain. So I'll find some place where I can just grab something, something easy and not too heavy, like something not like a big like heavy breakfast, but something that's like relatively light. And then yeah, like snowboard all day. Usually don't take a lunch break. We'll just like have maybe one or two small snacks and drinks throughout the day. But yeah, ride as much as possible. And then, when the day's over, that's usually when I go and I'll have like a late lunch. So say ride from like 9 or 8 or 9 until 2 or 3 p.m. And then after that, go straight, have a late lunch. And then after snowboarding is typically like, yeah, just hanging out, maybe start to get the videos ready. So I'll export all the video footage over to my computer, start working on videos, have like, I usually have dinner pretty late as well. So I have like a 8 p.m. dinner, and then continue just to work on videos. And yeah, I usually go to bed kind of late too, like 11 p.m. maybe 11 or 12, depending on how the videos are going. And yeah, do that as many times a week as I can. So yeah, that's usually on the days where I'm snowboarding and filming. It continues on to like editing the videos at night. So yeah, that's and keeping it simple too. For me, like because I want to go all in on snowboarding, like I love snowboarding. I'm addicted to it. So the more simply I can keep my life, the better I think the channel works out, because you really only have so many hours in the day. I've been like, yeah, it's funny how there's almost not enough time to get everything done. So the fewer things I have, the fewer commitments, the fewer things I have to do. And then for friend wise and socializing, I try to do that all on the mountain. So if I'm out snowboarding, that's the time where I'm like spending time with my friends. And then yeah, I have a dog and my wife Jill too. So we try to spend time either like after riding, having dinner or having lunch together. And then that's how we kind of spend quality time like that. All right, that was a good question. TNJ, would you come to Blue Mountain this upcoming season? Blue Mountain, Ontario. I probably I probably won't make it. I like grew up not too far from Blue Mountain, and yeah, it's super fun out there, but it's a far way to go from here on the West Coast. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good winter out there. Daniel says Mammoth is getting puked on. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's looking good. All right, we got 80 people in the chat, 82 and 39 likes. Awesome. Let's see if we can get the likes up to 50. That would be pretty cool. Christopher says, is the LibTech Orca a good everyday rider? So I think the LibTech Orca is a good, it could be a good everyday ride, like everyday board. If you're like not interested in doing anything in the park or anything like freestyle wise, if you don't want to do any tricks, then the Orca is good for everything else. So for carving, for trees, powder, all that stuff is really good. I think phone just connected to my headphones. Let's make sure that is not going to happen. But yeah, the Orca is kind of just is like a great board for like carving, for cruising the resort, for going into trees or into powder. But yeah, if you're not interested in freestyle stuff, then it could definitely be a good everyday board. Wild Lem said, I'm subscribed. Awesome. Thanks, Wild Lem. I appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys haven't yet, definitely subscribe. A great way to help out the channel too is that if you buy any of your snowboard gear through my links, then it helps to support the channel. So I link all my gear in the description of every video and also at the top of the comments. So if you guys need to pick up any snowboard gear, and if you do it through there, that's like an awesome way to help out the channel. Yeah, I'm stoked about my gear list this upcoming season. I'll have that video out in the next week or two as well, but I think I have all my gear set up. I've got my boards, bindings. The boots this year I got are the Vans High Standard Pros. So I've already ridden them one day at Mammoth and they're awesome. Very similar to the High Standard OGs by Vans. So almost this exact same boot, just like a couple little upgrades on the Pro version. I got a new Volcom jacket. It's actually like a pullover jacket. Was pretty inexpensive too. I think it was, yeah, like half of the price that I usually spend on my jacket. Got some Volcom pants and yeah, picked up a new, so I'm still rocking the Anon M4 goggles and picked up a Smith helmet. So the Smith Maze. Yeah, in the last like few years, I've definitely found like the Smith Maze is just the best kind of fit for my head, and it like works really well with the Anon goggles. It just kind of like seamlessly comes together. So yeah, we'll have the gear list video out for you guys soon. Colton says, thoughts on the Apex Orca for big guys and how it rides. Typically ride a 161 wide, but with the Apex only goes up to 159, so I picked it up. I'm 6'7", 250 with a 13 boot, so stretching it, LOL. Yeah, man, that's stretching it a little bit. I mean, if I was 6'7", 250, I would probably want to stay at 162 and over, to be honest. So I haven't ridden the Apex. I don't know like how much stiffer it is. If it's like a really stiff board, then you can maybe get away with it. But I would say like the main thing is as long as your size 13 boots, as long as it's like as long as the board's wide enough for your boots, then you're good. But yeah, I mean, I would, if I was you, I would probably return it and get a bigger board to be honest, because I'm 205 and my boots are 10 and a half, and I would definitely ride I'd want to ride the 161 wide. So, and you got 40 pounds on me, man. So I don't know. It's up to you. Hopefully, if you want to keep it, hopefully it works out. But yeah, I'd probably switch it up. Maybe go find a different board that you're interested in and get the size for you. Frank, yeah, I was just about to ask the difference between high standard OGs and the pros. So the pros have, actually I've got the pros right here. So one, I think the tread on the pros seems to be a bit more aggressive. So I think that's going to be good for hikes. the pros this year also have this like power strap. So, you know, you can do your laces up to this point, and then at the top, you just give the strap a pull and pull it across. So that's pretty cool. I think it makes it easier. Yeah, it makes it easier just to kind of do that. I actually put my laces up into the strap and pull it across. And I think the pros compared to the OGs are a little bit stiffer. So I think these are, say, a 5 out of 10, where the OGs are like a 4 out of 10. So just like a tiny bit stiffer. And I think they also have this little area here so that when you flex the boot, it's actually being able to flex a little bit more naturally, having sort of like a soft material here. So very similar, almost the same. They have a few different things. So there's like this bit of like texture on the toe. Maybe that's going to help to keep the toe strap held there. But when putting your foot into them, they feel pretty much the same. So the thing I like about Vans boots is that the whole, like, especially towards the toe, it just feels like you're sliding your foot into like a snug, like thick sock. It just feels like really, really good and comfortable. So for me, these boots, yeah, I love the Vans High Standard OGs and the High Standard Pros. They're boots that, you know, like in my experience, can put them on your feet brand new, ride them all day, and just feel like awesome. And my shoe size is a 10.5, and these are a 9.5. So I did go down one size, but I also had the 10s in an OG, so pretty close to my shoe size. L Stacker's in the chat saying cannonball the like button. Awesome. Yeah, 83 people watching, 55 likes. Yeah, thank you guys. Specky wants me to say hi to his brother Josh. What's up, Josh? What's up, Josh? How's it going, man? Quentin says, got myself the Capita Mega Merc for this season. Which bindings would you recommend? Leaning towards the Union Stratas or Atlas? Any suggestions? I would say that, yeah, that's a pretty aggressive board there. The Mega Merc, nice one, man. So, I mean, it's an aggressive board, so I would go for the aggressive bindings. So the Atlas, I think they're stiffer, more of an aggressive binding. Unless you prefer like doing more, if you want to do more freestyle stuff with the Merc, then I would go for the Stratas. Stratas, softer flexing binding, a little bit more mellow. So if you're leaning towards taking the Merc for some freestyle stuff, then go Stratas. But if you just want to carve and ride fast and maybe take it into powder, then I would go for the Atlas. Adrian wants to know what's going on with the hair. Oh yeah, just I'm letting it go. Haven't had a haircut in like almost like a year and a half. So yeah, just letting it grow. I don't know. It's just kind of like fun. It's just a fun thing to let the hair go. Jamie says best camera to use. I have an Insta360 2X and a GoPro 7 Black. Should I upgrade or is that fine? Yeah, it kind of depends. So I have gotten away from using the 360 cameras just because I find that the image quality is just like not that crisp and clear. It kind of like makes everything just look a bit like muddy, and I don't know, it's not that interesting in my opinion to like watch. Like, so last couple of years I've like used both cameras a lot, the Insta360 and the GoPros. And yeah, especially like when I'm editing a video or watching a video back, anytime like the GoPro clips come on, I'm like way more interested in watching it than the Insta360 clips. I think, yeah, for some reason it just having that bumped up quality, that like crispness of watching the video in 4K. Yeah, yeah, the scenery looks better, especially like in lower light conditions. So yeah, I'd recommend the GoPro. I've got the, yeah, picked up the 11. So yeah, hopefully the 11 works all good. But and then stabilization now too, and like the new GoPros is like totally clean. It's almost like 100. I think this one has horizon like lock, so like no matter how you like turn the camera, it's gonna stay completely level. So the stabilization in the new GoPros is like flawless, and so you get that same kind of like just no, there's like no shake whatsoever. So I'd recommend the GoPros. Justin, how many more days a year would you say that someone that works on the resort would be able to snowboard versus someone who works on a Friday 9 to 5, Monday to Friday 9 to 5? I guess it depends on what you do at the resort. Like if you are like working on the mountain where you're like strapping your snowboard in daily, then yeah, I guess you're getting quite a lot more days compared to, yeah, if you're working at 9 to 5, then you are only able to ride the weekends. And the weekends, like when I lived in Whistler, you always try to avoid the weekend. So my days off were usually Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday, and then you just get more of the mountain to yourself. So, but yeah, I feel like it's not about quantity of days on the mountain; it's also about quality. So even if you are working for the mountain, if like the 5 days a week you're working at the resort, if you're not actually able to snowboard and enjoy it, then that really doesn't. That's not really time on your board either. So try to make, I would just say try to make it work so that you have the most days on the mountain of like quality snowboard days too. El Stacker is watching from Boise, Idaho. Yeah, let us know in the chat where everyone is watching from. We got 95 people on here, 63 likes. Awesome, guys. Thanks for hopping on. T&J, my friend struggles a little bit when trying to do frontside 360s. He always lands 270. What's probably happening is your friend is like spinning like 180 and then kind of twisting to get to 270. But yeah, your friend needs to just commit a little bit more. Try to commit to spinning the full 270 and then twisting out that last 90. So yeah, the wind up, make sure it's a clean wind up. The pop is going straight up into the air. Maybe they might just need an extra second in the air. So a lot of times just focusing on like getting that clean carving line up to the kicker or wherever you're doing it and popping like straight up. And that extra like just pop straight up can help you give you that time to get the 360 around. Nick, are you going to be at Mammoth this weekend? I'll be there Friday. Possibly, yeah, we'll see how it goes with the weather and everything, but I'm thinking about going tomorrow, and I'm picking my friend Yannick up from the airport I think it's on Friday. So it's possible to go this weekend, but yeah, we'll look at the weather, see what else opens. It'd be nice to go just snowboarding here around Tahoe because it's so much closer. Mammoth is still like a decent drive, like 3-hour drive away. So yeah, we'll see how everything works out. W. Acco says, how do you like the K2 excavator edge hold on icy piste? I haven't ridden, so yeah, the K2 excavator, haven't ridden it yet, but my inkling is that it's going to be pretty decent in ice. It does have a lot of positive camber towards the back half of the snowboard. So yeah, I feel like with that camber is definitely good for ice, good for hold. So, but yeah, let me ride it for a while and I'll get back to you on that. Let you guys know how it does for carving, how it does on ice, and how well it floats in powder. But I think I have an inkling it's going to do really well. Dean says, have you been to Switzerland? Have you been to Switzerland, Zermatt? How would it compare to Whistler, if yes? There's some comparisons. Like in terms of size, I would say like Zermatt is like, yeah, it's a big mountain, lots of terrain. So kind of like in some ways similar to Whistler. I feel like Whistler has, but they're very different too. Like maybe in total area they might be similar, but the pitch of the mountains, yeah, the Alps are just different. They're just different in terms of like the trees. Zermatt, the runs are like super, super wide. Um, yeah, but Whistler, yeah, I would say, I don't know, they're different, similar in size, but very different too. Different trees, different types of runs, different alpine. The views in you know, the views are comparable, but they're also just very different too. So it's hard to compare because everything about them is a bit different. Gary says hi from the UK. Where did you meet Yannick and Rav? Yeah, so Yannick is the guy who's helping me with the channel this year. He's like the first kind of like Snowboard Pro Camp hired editor. So he's helping me to edit and film. And so I met those guys, I think it was, yeah, like 4 years ago. They put out the idea of doing like a Europe trip, and they would like organize the trip. And TJ and I went on the trip together with them. And yeah, we had a great time and just ended up becoming good friends. And since then, I've done like multiple trips together. And I love snowboarding with those guys too, because they're just like really excited about snowboarding, and like that's really fun. And not just snowboarding, but also like the videos too. So they've been amazing in like helping to make the videos like with filming or just like in any different way. So yeah, that's a cool thing to be around, because like I love snowboarding and I get excited about making videos. So to be around people who are also like excited about that same thing is perfect. So yeah, that's why we like stayed friends and just keep doing videos together. And yeah, it's just gonna continue. 93 people on, 66 likes. Awesome, thank you guys. Julio, tips for snowboarding internationally. I'm headed to Zermatt this season. Awesome, man. I would say like tips for internationally. So definitely when you get to, different places have different like hazards in the mountains. So I know like in the Alps compared to other places, there's a lot more crevasses. So those like big cracks in the snow that go across glaciers, and those can be like very hazardous because you can just fall into a crack and never to be seen again. So it's important to like when you go internationally, like learn about what the hazards are in that area. So for example, going to Japan, in certain resorts in Japan, like the trees are really dangerous because the trees kind of just like come down to these like steep gullies, and they create like a terrain trap where you can get stuck, or you can cause like a mini avalanche and kind of get trapped in there. So depending on where you travel to, there's different hazards. A big one in Whistler, and like the kind of I'm sure a lot of places, but Whistler especially is tree wells. So at the base of the tree, because the snow kind of gets caught up into the tree, the base of the tree kind of turns into like a big well, basically, and you can go into that. So yeah, it's important to know the hazards. Learn about the mountain etiquette where you're going to. There's different kind of rules for speed or for lining up depending on where you're going. I know like in Switzerland, there's not really any line etiquette. Everyone just kind of crams in together. What time like chairlifts close, because you don't want to get stuck on the mountain. It's good to make sure you got health insurance and everything like that. And yeah, just find out, I guess like, yeah, just how do I say this? Kind of the etiquette around the mountain, but also like just the normal culture of snowboarding where you're going to. So some places have après afterwards, other places don't. Some places, you have the village right at the base, and everything is open for as long as you like, and then other places, everything is shut until later. So yeah, just like try to just take some time, learn everything you can. Try to learn the names of like some of the important runs and chairlifts. But yeah, I mean, that's where you can start. And I'm sure there's even more stuff that I don't even know about. But yeah, having the insurance is important and learning the hazards too. Zyker, is it a good idea to get crash pants for the first time snowboarding? Definitely. Yeah, I would think like crash pants are like super underrated. So definitely helmet is obviously everyone knows about getting a helmet. I think most people know about getting like wrist guards too. Like as a new snowboarder, hurting your wrists is really common. But the thing that I feel like people don't know about as much is crash pants or like impact shorts, and those can save your tailbone because guaranteed like your first time snowboarding you're going to have a few times where you just like catch your heels and go backwards, and it may not like be a big crash, but if you hit your like tailbone or that area of your like of your back there, it can really hurt. So crash pants are huge, definitely recommend them. For myself, like even there was a few years where I wore crash pants because I had a couple falls on like jumps or on rails or whatever, and I kind of smacked my tailbone. And then after that, just would have the crash pants on, and it would give me so much more like just assurance, like that if I did have that fall, it wasn't going to hurt. So definitely recommend impact shorts. David says, had my first full season of snowboarding last winter, 59 days. I was wondering what you are. I wonder when you are considered advanced. So I think like, yeah, like I would say you're an advanced rider when you can just ride any terrain. And I feel like you don't have to like, there's not like a certain like way of having to ride or look or anything like that. But it's kind of like if you took someone up to a black diamond and they just comfortably were able to turn down at heels and toes the whole way. I feel like somebody that can do that, like you're an advanced rider. If you have like a decent, I feel like even like for freestyle stuff, you don't have to be doing tricks or be riding switch or anything like that. But if like somebody takes you to a set of trees and you're riding through the trees with your friends, if you can do the like heel turns and toe turns the whole way through the trees, then I would say you're an advanced rider. And doing it at a pace that is just consistent. So you don't have to be riding fast. You don't have to be like flying down black diamonds or double black diamonds. But if you can ride down one of those in control, doing turns from heels to toes, then yeah, I would consider you advanced if you could do that. I know a lot of times when if I'm out riding and I'm meeting friends on the mountain, yeah, like one thing like I guess I try to assess everyone's ability so that you then know what type of terrain to pick. And if there's somebody in the group that I can see is not going to be comfortable, say going through the trees or going down a black diamond, then we'll just stick to like more blue terrain. And if you're sticking to more like blue terrain or just like more mellow runs, then you're probably like an intermediate rider. So that's probably what assesses your level of snowboarding. Oh, we got CD on here dropping the pancakes. Nice, man. Could we get some pancakes in the chat? I don't know if there's a pancake emoji or maybe there's a maple syrup emoji, but yeah, CD is my friend from high school who lives in Toronto. What is up, Chris? What's up, man? Dropping the pancakes in the chat. Awesome. We got 96 people on here, 73 likes. Actually, you guys would know who CD excuse me, who CD is. So 2 years ago, he was in 3 beginner videos where I taught him to snowboard. So yeah, those videos are like doing really well too. So I think they're called like teaching my friend to snowboard, and then there's part 1, part 2, and part 3. So that is Chris in there. And Chris was also skiing in our Whistler Heli Day video. So if you guys haven't seen that Whistler Heli video, check it out. Chris is also in that one. But yeah, in high school when we used to have like a ski snowboard club that we like once a week for say like 10 weeks, we would go snowboarding. And Chris was in that club, and his dad actually took me on my first kind of like official ski trip, and we went to Mount Tremblant in Quebec, Canada. So there's no video from that trip. There's a few like embarrassing photos, which maybe I could get my hands on somehow. But yeah, Chris was one of my first ski friends. Oh, we got some other people dropping pancakes in the chat too. Oh, L Stacker says waffles or pancakes. Yeah, I would go for waffles. I like waffles better. Yeah, if you ever stay in like a hotel and they have one of, you know how in a hotel like breakfast, sometimes they have the waffle machine maker or the pancake maker. Sometimes they have both too. That's when you know you're staying at a really nice hotel. But I get excited when I see the waffle maker. That's like, if I see the waffle maker, then I'm going down for that hotel breakfast. Grant says, used to love when you showed us what you were eating after a long day of snowboarding. I love food, include more. Yeah, I should do that. I guess now, yeah, here around Reno, there are like so many places to eat too. So amazing burritos. What else do they have around here? Yeah, pizza, sushi. Yeah, what do they have? Burgers. I mean, America is the best for food. So yeah, I'll bring that back. I'll start adding in some post snowboarding food. I was thinking of doing a video where I talk about my 5 favorite places to eat after snowboarding. Maybe not even necessarily places, but like things to eat. Like my 5 favorite just things to eat after riding. Oh, I know my number 1 already. Actually, I could show this at some point. So I think my favorite place to eat after snowboarding is Mod Pizza. So if you guys live on like the west coast of the US, and I think there's maybe one in Canada, Mod Pizza is kind of like Subway sandwiches, but for pizza, where you can choose your own toppings, and they cook it in like a brick fire oven. So yeah, Mod Pizza is my number 1 probably. But yeah, let's see if I can find some other good places around here. All right, we got over 100 people in the chat, 104 people, 78 likes. That's awesome. This is like, man, one of my favorite live chats in a while. Oh, another way to support the channel is to do a super chat. So if you guys are interested, hit that super chat button, and it's a good way to get your question answered guaranteed. I'll answer 100% of all the super chat questions. And yeah, if you guys like the content that's going up on Snowboard Pro Camp, it's an awesome way to support the channel. Javier says, what's your go-to wax and brushes? Honestly, Javier, I don't have a go-to wax. I usually just like get whatever wax the snowboard, whatever snowboard shop is selling. Cause I find every time you go into a snowboard shop, they have like different waxes. So I just try to pick up whatever the shop recommends. And then also I think like getting the right temperature wax is really important. Javier, you just reminded me too, I need to wax these snowboards as well. So that's really important. But I think the most important thing for waxing is having a sharp scraper. So if you have a scraper, make sure that you have some kind of tool that you can sharpen your scraper with. So like a metal filing iron really helps to keep your scraper sharp. Because yeah, I've made the mistake of like not sharpening my scraper, and then it just makes scraping the wax off afterwards just like such a hassle. So sharpen your scrapers, and you will be like the joy of waxing will be so much more. Ben says, hey man, any tips on making a living in a ski snowboard area? Can you make a living from a full-time snowboard instructing? Cheers. I think you can pull it off. It's tough because it's hard to get the number of hours you need to really make enough money. So like my problem when I was teaching snowboarding was that even though I had like all my like a bunch of certificates, which got me more money per hour. So I had my like CASI level 3, I had my park instructor, I had an Navi course, I had an evaluator course. So all these courses which helped me get pay rises. So I think at the end of my instructor career, I was making say $24 an hour Canadian. But then the problem is it's hard to work like a full 40-hour work week because maybe you show up to work one day and there's not no lessons, but there may be 10 instructors turn up, but only enough lessons for 7 or 8 of the instructors. So you end up getting sent home or whatever. So it is hard to like get the enough hours. A lot of the instructors I worked with also had second jobs. I never had a second job just because I didn't want to burn myself out. I wanted to spend my free time and like enjoying snowboarding too. But you could possibly like one thing that could help is if you had like a really good summer job as well. So for me, I didn't have a great summer job at the time either. I was just like painting houses in the summer, which wasn't a lot of money either. Like I was making like at the most I made painting houses, I think was $19 an hour. So that wasn't great like either. So having those two jobs, I was always just kind of like breaking even or just like going a bit into debt every year. So that's where like starting the channel and sort of transitioning out of teaching and moving to like YouTube like totally saved me because I wouldn't have been able to persist with it. But I know that some people do make it work with like different lifestyles or being smarter with their money or just like people can make it work in different ways, but it can be tough to get that hourly wage high enough and then also to get enough hours in. But yeah, hopefully you can make it work, man. Whatever works for you. David wants to know best icon location in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what is the best. Is Crystal Mountain on icon? I would maybe say Crystal, or I guess Mount Bachelor. Mount Bachelor could technically still be in the Pacific Northwest. What else? Mount Schweitzer. That's kind of like Idaho is in the Pacific Northwest. I would say that I don't know, one of those. I think if Crystal Mountain is on icon, I would say maybe Crystal Mountain. Yeah. Although Bachelor is really fun too, and Schweitzer, man. Yeah, there's some good ones up there. David says, oh, I forgot the like button. Yeah, hit that like button. We got 86 likes, 81 people watching. We got the first super chat come in. All right, so Prestige Video Productions. I plan to go to Whistler December 9th. Any idea of if conditions will be good? Usually around that time. P.S. I photographed TJ at Big Snow recently, LOL. Awesome, man. That's really cool. Is your name Prestige Video Productions? Does that have anything to do with Step Brothers and Prestige Worldwide? Because that's a dope name. But that's cool. You got to film TJ at Big Snow. Man, I wish I could have met up with you guys then. That's awesome. To be honest, Whistler is very random. So if you're showing up December 9th, it's kind of going to be Whistler's a funny place where you could have the best week of powder and sun one week, and then the next week it'd be like raining and cloudy. There's been seasons too where like November you'll get like 5 meters of snow in November, and then other seasons where it doesn't snow until after Christmas. So it's really a gamble. I would just keep an eye on the forecast. Maybe check out, there's an app called snowforecast.com. That's the app that I use to like just watch the weather and see what's coming. So, but it's still typically, that's still kind of early season. So the mountain may not be fully open. You might not get all the alpine runs in, but it's possible. Yeah, just keep an eye on those apps, and I hope you have a good trip, man. Time to Roll says, hi, Kev, do you think a beginner can get CASI 1 in one season? Thanks. Yeah, I think you definitely could. So I think if you are going to the mountain with the intention of, getting your turns down, getting everything looking smooth, maybe even pick up like, I don't know if you can get the Cassie manual online, but or if they have videos kind of showing you the technique that they want to see. And also, if you have a good enough understanding of like the mechanics of turning and kind of like knowing how to explain those things, then you can definitely do it. But I would say the most important thing is finding out like what types of turns they want to see and being able to ride like that, and then also like learning enough about how like Cassie teaches, so the terms they use, the steps that they use, and learning all of that. And if you can learn that and maybe practice with like some friends, so if you could find friends who either are learning to snowboard or like want to master their turns, and if you could like just practice teach with them, I think that that is huge. When I did my level one, I like jumped into it with like no knowledge, with like really poor riding technique, and I managed to pull it off. But I think it was because the evaluator like really helped the whole group pass. I think otherwise we all would have failed if it wasn't for the evaluator. But yeah, if you can go into it ahead of time and like just do your homework and learn how they want you to be turning, and learn the steps of teaching that they use, I think you can definitely do it. Christopher says, heading out to Whistler for the season. Any top tips, both for the mountains and in the village? Man, I think top tips. I would say for riding when it's a POW day, try to get to the mountain like first. Get there super early. It's like really worth it. When the thing about Whistler is that it's pretty aggressive for people getting to the good places first. So, if you get to your favorite run and it's a POW day, but like 100 people have already gone down, it's really not as good as it as it could be. So if you just show up early, get to the runs early, that's huge, because then you get like insane powder. I would also say like, yeah, be safe, because you don't want to get hurt early in the seasons, and Whistler can be a very dangerous set of mountains there. So be careful of riding in the trees. Always, ride with friends. Be careful of the hazards. In the Alpine, there's lots of risks up there of like cliffs and just getting into places that are really dangerous. And then stay inside the resort too, like for your first season. Like I wouldn't venture off outside of the resort, because there's like tons of hazards. Unless you're like inclined to that and like you're into taking AV courses and stuff. And then in terms of the village, I would just say like don't spend all your money too soon. In Whistler, there's always a reason to go out. It's always somebody's birthday, or like a friend is visiting or something, where Whistler just has so many restaurants and bars and nightclubs and stuff. You can spend all your money in the first month. So try to pace yourself if you're into that stuff. Maybe like, yeah, don't go too hard, and save most of your energy for the mountains. But yeah, and then for accommodation wise, just hopefully you already have a place. If you don't, just be aggressive. Keep an eye on Craigslist and try to go after a good place. One thing with Whistler is that because like there's such a high demand for people trying to find a place to live, landlords can really take advantage of the people they're renting to. So if you are renting a place, just know what the laws are and what landlords can do, and like protect yourself that way, and like stand up to landlords, because yeah, Whistler is, from my experience, like landlords are notorious for like taking advantage of their tenants. So try to be on top of that. But yeah, have fun in Whistler, man. It's gonna be amazing. Adrian says, any plans to collab with other YouTubers this season? Definitely. Yeah, it would be great to. So, man, not too far from here over in Truckee, there's Casey Willax. There's also Brian Daly. So Overstoked is like not too far from here as well. We've got TJ Board Archive over in Colorado. We've got El Stacker up in Boise, Idaho, at Bogus Basin there. So yeah, lots of YouTubers to collab with. Hopefully, I get to maybe some new people too. I know that board progression. I think that's the guy from Utah. It'd be cool to collaborate with him at some point. And then there's also a dude in Aspen, Colorado. I can't remember his channel right now, but yeah, I would be stoked to collab with him. I think, yeah, Jonathan Buckhouse is in Colorado, so, but I know he has like a pretty busy schedule through the winter. We got Tommy Bennett, who is recovering from surgery. So hopefully he recovers quick. I'm sure he is. He's like a super healthy guy. So possibly ride with Tommy. And I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. Let me think. But yeah, there's like tons of YouTubers in this area. So yeah, I'm always down to collaborate and to hang out for sure. All right, let's do a few more questions coming up on the 1 hour mark. But yeah, it's been awesome. Come on here, talk to you guys. I'm gonna try to do like a live chat every week, or even more than once a week, just because it's good to stay connected, answer any of your guys' questions, let you know what's happening with the channel. Yeah, I've been trying hard to get videos out every day. So if you guys have any like requests too for like videos that you think I should make here on the channel, just like let me know about like what videos you want to see. Coming out this week, I think tomorrow I've made an extended cut edition of my Alaska heli video. So last spring, we went heliboarding in Alaska, and I put out a video that was like 15 minutes. So I'm gonna try to do so I've already done a video that is like a 30-minute heli video from Alaska. So that video is coming out tomorrow. So yeah, watch out for that one. Oh, a YouTuber I missed, David Jones. Hopefully I get to ride with David a bunch this season as well. And then on Thursday, we've got, I talk about my favorite 3 helmets. So if you guys need to pick up a helmet for the season, that's gonna come out on Thursday. Friday, a video I've got coming out is tips for like stretching or like getting warmed up your first lap on the run. So if you guys want some like warm up tips, that's coming out on Friday. Saturday, I don't know if you guys have seen these videos, but I have a series where I'm asking snowboarders questions. And so there's like a new question coming out this Saturday. And then Sunday is how to progress with front board slides. So if you're into board slides, I'm doing a video where I show you how to progress from doing them on the snow to a box to a tube to, you know, like a harder tube to a rail. So that video I think should be really fun. So all those videos are coming this week. And if you guys have any video requests too, definitely let me know. Hazio says, any splitboarding plans coming up? Possibly, yeah. I love going splitboarding. I forgot, I left my splitboard in Vancouver. So I may have to pick up a new splitboard if I wanna go. But yeah, I love splitboarding. So once the snowpack up here in Northern California gets deep enough, and there's some access to the Alpine, and maybe if I can find someone who can kind of show me the ropes of some spots around here, that would be amazing to do some splitboarding for sure. And Hazio says, would love a detailed video for a list of splitboarding and backcountry gear. Definitely, man. I think I do have a video that came out like last April or May with my splitboarding gear. So maybe check that one out, but I'll make another one for sure. Salvia says, why isn't David Jones posting? I think he's just taking a break. I know that he has videos like on his computer ready to go. I don't know if they're all completed yet, but I know I think he's just kind of taking a break. He was going so hard there for a couple of years, and I think he's got videos on the way for sure. Sebastian says, what about Mammoth Mountain? Is it good? I've never been there before. Yeah, Mammoth is good. It's an awesome mountain. So I feel like right now, like not everything is open yet. So it's kind of like still really early season, but when everything is open at Mammoth, it's it's like a pretty pretty big mountain with a lot of runs to choose from. It's kind of an interesting place because it's like a very like long mountain. It's kind of my first time there, I got lost a few times just because there's so many chairlifts everywhere. It's hard to know where to go, but yeah, Mammoth is super fun. Awesome. I'll leave it there. Thank you guys for hopping on the chat. Thanks for we had over 100 people watching there for a while and 93 likes. That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys. And thank you to, the person that did the $5 super chat as well. But yeah, we'll see you guys on here again soon. And yeah, stay tuned. Lots of videos coming here on Snowboard Pro Camp. Tomorrow is the extended heli video from Alaska. So excited to share that with you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys. Hope you have a great early start to your season. And I'll talk to you guys on here again soon. Sweet. Later, guys.